Hey, welcome back, everyone,
Yeah.
to another episode of Caffeinated Librarian.
Yeah.
I'm Ben. Because it's my final episode, I got to choose the topic today.
For a while.
It's
not your last episode ever. It's just his last episode for a little bit.
Yep. For the foreseeable future, this is my last episode. So
sad.
I got to choose the topic, and we're choosing your favorite movie.
The viewer.
We're telling you what your favorite movie.
Our favorite movie. Our favorite TV show. Our favorite book. And most importantly, our favorite game, be it tabletop, board game, or video game. Or party game.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I love it. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a chill episode.
And I think all the best episodes start with Simona first.
Yeah, don't go through your entire list, though. Let's go through one thing at a time first. Because then there's nothing to go back to for. And the audience looks forward to when you go back. To when we go back to Simona.
Yeah.
And there won't be any more Simona if you go through everything. All at
Not
once.
only do you get to go first, but you get to choose which topic goes first.
Oh. It's the Russian roulette of topics here.
Oh boy.
Well, no, because every chamber's full, and none of them are going to hurt you.
It's true.
Okay, so I think I'll start with TV show.
That's a great choice.
Thank you, I thought so too.
It's one of the best 4 you could have picked.
I think so too, yeah, I'm very proud of my selection.
Yeah.
So, as everyone here knows, and if you've been listening to us for a while...
Wait, let me guess. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But you're not going to talk about Buffy, are you?
I am going to talk about Buffy.
Oh, you
Yes.
are?
So, I would hate to disappoint you all.
I was expecting How I Met Your Mother.
Are we all
Well-
that surprised? We're not all that surprised.
No, but I have also an honorable mention as well. So, in fact, if you want, I'll talk about that one instead.
First, because it's your honorable mention, and then you talk about your favorite.
And then talk
Sure.
about Buffy.
So,
Buff.
one show that I would recommend if you haven't already seen it is Pushing Daisies. It's a really great show. It's by the same creator of Hannibal. What's the one with the
Brian
Grim Reaper?
Fuller, I want to say. His
Gra-
name.
Dead Like Me? Is that
Yes.
it? Unfortunately, it only lasted 2 seasons before it was canceled. But it's a brilliant show. I'm going to try not to be too spoilery, but it's about this guy named Ned who's a pie maker, but he can also wake the dead. And
With his pies?
No, so basically, with a touch of his finger, if he touches you, he can revive you. And one morning he's taking out the trash, and this guy who's being chased by Emerson Codd, who's one of the greatest characters ever, he's a detective who loves his money way too much, is chasing this guy over the rooftops. The guy falls, lands on the dumpster, bounces back, runs his hand along Ned's face, and he gets revived. And then he sees Ned chase him, touch him, and the guy falls dead again. So Emerson Codd essentially blackmails Ned that he won't tell his secret if he volunteers to help him solve reward crimes. So say find out who killed my dog, $20,000 or more. Basically he gets him to touch the dead people so that they can claim the reward money.
Nice.
So yeah, and then one day he has to revive his childhood sweetheart, and that's all I'm going to say. But it is very well done. The color, the way the show is colored, it's probably a better term for that. But it's these bright...
The color grading?
Yeah, bright, vivid, it's like a color party, for lack of a better term. The reds are vivid, the yellows are vivid. There's so much life to the way that the film is colored, and you said a better term. What was it again?
I don't know if it's the correct
Life?
term. Color grading? Is that
Oh.
the correct term? Or just use of color?
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
use of color, and there's also not one character that you do not like on that show. They're also just so full of life. It's fantastic. So that's my honorable mention. Now, my all-time favorite, which as I said is no surprise to anyone in this room, and if you've been listening, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not going to go too much about that. Most people, even if you haven't watched the show, are familiar with the character because she is very iconic. So it's about a 16-year-old girl who slays vampires, demons, and the forces of darkness, and that's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it, and yeah, that's my favorite.
It's a good one. It is good. gets better after the first season,
It definitely does, yeah.
and then arguably falls off a little bit. But what would you say, like season 2 through 4, or 2 through 5,
I would
are
say
like top notch?
seasons 2 through 5, like the first season, because like with many shows, they have like, they're sort of still trying to find their footing. They're trying to figure out their mythology. They played around with the special effects. And granted, they had a very limited budget, so some things may not be as impressive, but it's still worth the watch.
Oh yeah.
While the first season definitely isn't the best, there are standout episodes in the first season, but I would say from seasons 2 to 5, they are the best of the show.
I also think the first season's entertaining still.
It definitely
it's not like
is,
it's
yeah.
bad that it makes you not want to watch the rest of the show.
And while some things are dated, the show premiered in 97, so you won't see cell phones. You won't see any other technology quite like you're used to now, but it deals with themes and topics that are still relevant and timely.
Yeah.
So it deals with domestic abuse.
I remember they had they had a school shooting episode, and they had actually filmed it before Columbine happened.
Yeah, so that was an episode. It's called Earshot, and it's the 3rd season, and it's one of my favorite. Where Buffy, after she slays this demon who's like, they're telepathic, so they have no mouths, they communicate with their minds. She gets blood on her hand, and she can hear everyone's thoughts. At first, she's very excited because as a typical teenager, like she's, ooh, look what I can do. But eventually it becomes overwhelming where it's almost driving her insane. And she hears a voice saying, this time tomorrow, you'll all be dead. So she's trying to figure out who the killer is. Spoiler, it's the lunch lady.
The lunch lady, which is hilarious.
But there is a young man.
Because Xander calls it the whole episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the surprise thing is that it's this young man he was like a reoccurring minor character. And he basically is so severely bullied and depressed that he wants to take his own life. Yeah. Buffy.
The fact that he uses a rifle.
I know that's meant as like a red herring, or maybe there's a better term for that. But I thought it was dumb too. If you're going to shoot yourself, you're not going to use a high-powered rifle.
You're also probably not going to do it in like a bell tower at school. But it's supposed to throw you off. But it was a poignant episode, especially for what was going on in the country at that time.
Definitely, and it wasn't aired because of Columbine. It was aired much later out of respect to the victims of Columbine. But she ends up basically convincing him not to take his own life, and she also manages to stop the lunch lady before she can put rat poison in the mulligan soup, as Xander was quick to point out. It also, like I said, dealt with domestic violence. It dealt with bullying. At the time, the internet safety was a very big thing. There's a very comical episode about internet safety, which wouldn't probably stand the test of time too much now, but I still find it very entertaining. It also dealt with the pressures of being a teen, the pressures of academic perfection, the pressures of maintaining like a perfect appearance. So there are a lot of timely, relevant topics. And I would highly recommend it. It's a great show.
Agreed. Are we going right or are we going left?
We're going right. We're going left. I'll go left. Okay. All right. Honorable mentions. I have a handful, but I'm not going to get into too much. Obviously, I love The Magicians. I think it doesn't have a Game of Thrones level budget, but you can't deny that writing in those characters. Just completely compelling television through 5 seasons.
My issue with it is that it's called The Magicians.
Yeah.
I think that's my only issue with it. When I think Magicians, I think of a guy pulling a rabbit out of a hat at a 5-year-old's birthday. Mm-hmm. And it's better than that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least the first.
The going way to describe it seems to be like a young adult R-rated Harry Potter, but with American kids in college.
Nice.
Okay. It's more than that too. There's a lot to it. There's layers to that.
And where can one watch this?
Netflix. 2 British programs, 3 actually. One's called River with Stellan Skarsgård. It's a limited series, and it's just very, very powerful. Love the English because they know when to end things. They're willing to have things go 2 seasons. They don't, because the story is that long. So, Last Tango in Halifax and Happy Valley. Happy Valley's 3rd and final season is happening right now. Haven't watched it. It's not coming out here until May. I have to say, though, and I hate to be such a cliche, but if I'm going to go with I think the most important TV show of my life is The Walking Dead. This thing has been around since I was, I was under 30, I think. I think every season has done something interesting and creative. I think it's tough to maintain a show over 11 seasons.
Yeah.
And they took some big swings after season 7 and some hit and some miss, but I was so attached to all the characters throughout anyway that I was just completely along for that ride. And from the second half of season 3 up until the end of season 6, it was a perfect, untouchable program, like top tier, and I just love it. I think I have to say that that's always going to be my favorite show. So who I was, where I was in my life, and the amount of time it took up in my life, and I think that's just something that can't be replicated.
Respect. Is The Walking Dead done?
Done.
It is. Does Rick come back?
I don't know.
That's a hint. That's a hint.
Was he telling us something?
He was
He's-
winking.
Like, what does that mean?
That means that
Yes?
it probably
Oh, okay.
yes.
All right.
I've never seen the show, so I
Right.
can't be
And there's
100%.
going to be 2 offshoot TV programs, but the main series has finished.
Oh, there's going to be more?
There's going to be
More than the Fear of the Walking Dead and the other one that's
Fear
on
of the
now?
Walking Dead is ending with this next season.
Oh, it is?
And there's going to be 2 more shows, but it's going to be focused on characters from the main season. It's going to be totally separate and new.
I wish that, so I thought Fear of the Walking Dead was going to show us more of, how stuff happened. And then that just, it was like they spent, the first half of the first episode on it. And then it was they were just, running from zombies and stuff like that. I was really hoping more from the Fear of the Walking Dead.
And then they gave my second favorite character from the main show to that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which character goes to that one?
The guy with the staff who doesn't want to fight anymore.
Oh, yeah? He goes to that show?
Yeah. His name's slipping me. Second favorite character, and I can't remember his name right now.
Who's your first favorite character?
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker?
Mhm.
Like the
That
politician?
can't be his name.
Like the football player?
His last name can't be Walker.
That's right. Herschel.
Oh, the old guy from the farm. Right?
If I'm turning red right now on camera, I apologize. I did not mean Herschel Walker.
I was like, wow, that show got interesting.
That'd be crazy if Herschel Walker showed up playing himself in Walking Dead.
That full name just rolls so easily off my lips.
Oh, because his name is
Herschel.
Herschel Green.
Herschel Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's okay.
Maggie's dad.
You got the first part.
Maggie's dad, that's right.
Yeah.
I like Maggie.
That's what matters.
Loved him.
Okay. So are we saying our honorable mentions first and then our
I think
favorite?
Have you been paying attention to the episode so far?
I
Boom!
don't know.
Goes the
All right.
dynamite.
So
Katie.
Shots fired.
so my
This is
honorable
why
Gonna
She
get
has
mentions.
to
assaulted by
leave
her
the
mom in
show.
Starbucks. Big, stop being a prick to my daughter.
No, she won't do that. So my honorable mention is actually a limited series on Netflix. It's called Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street, and it's about Bernie Madoff and how he created his Ponzi scheme, and alongside this legitimate business he actually had that was very successful, but then he also had this Ponzi scheme on the side, and how he started to when he was arrested, and it's about how his family and how everything kind of worked within his madness, I guess. I don't know, but it's really interesting. You have interviews from people who worked the legitimate side, and then you also had interviews from people, an interviewer who didn't want to be shown on
Well, it's
camera.
a documentary series.
It's a documentary series. Who worked on the illegitimate side. And you've got interviews from FBI agents who are now retired who worked the case, and other lawyer interviews, and it's really very, very fascinating. And besides the fact that he was one of the only people to actually get arrested and prosecuted for what happened in 2008 when the housing market crashed, and I was alive. Well, I am alive, but I remember it happening, and I remember watching it in real time. So to go back and watch it, are you okay, Simona?
I'm sorry, I just swallowed my gum. I wasn't sorry.
Oh. Sorry. It's okay. And it's all. I like documentaries like this because I find it all to be really fascinating and stuff. So.
Did they bring the Wilpons into it at all? Were the Wilpons mentioned?
What?
The Wilpons, were they mentioned at all?
I don't remember. I mean, I kind of like watched this limited series. It's like 4 episodes, all in one sitting, and it was late at night. And though I retained most of it, I don't remember like individual.
Because they
people.
did like major dealings with Bernie Madoff and invested so much money with Bernie Madoff, which is why the Mets went down such a
Oh yeah, no,
horrible,
they
horrible,
did. He was part of like the big 4 who invested a lot of money into Bernie Madoff. Yeah, no, they did mention him.
Yeah.
Yep, that family.
Yeah.
They also mentioned like the hedge fund that was involved with him. So yeah, it was all very, very fascinating, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
North
I remember.
Salem's
I'm sorry.
very own.
Sorry,
North Salem's very own.
Bernie Madoff, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what North Salem has to offer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just remember
billionaires.
when all that stuff came out. I just remember all Mets fans being like, "Okay, that explains everything now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my favorite TV show. I don't really have a favorite TV show because I don't really watch TV. Well, I do watch TV, but it's not like I don't really have recurring TV shows that I like watching, and except for this one is a BBC production called The Musketeers, and it follows Alexander Dumas's characters. You follow D'Artagnan and Athos and Porthos and Aramis, and there's like 3 seasons. The 3rd season is a little weaker than the other 2 because it was like their last season because the BBC was going to cancel them, which I didn't understand why, because the writing was excellent, the storytelling was excellent.
Did it utilize the most important factor of the Three Musketeers?
What's the most important factor of the Three Musketeers?
The guy running around going, D'Artagnan!
That's from the Disney version. This isn't the Disney version, so no. I love that movie too. But it's like...
This is what we're gonna miss, guys.
Yeah. But it's like the first season has you, the bad guy is Cardinal Richelieu, and then like Milady. The second season, the big bad is oh God, what's his name? I can't think of the character's name.
Godric the Grafted.
No. No, he's the other villain in the Disney version movie. He's all in black. I just don't remember the character's
The
name.
Man in Black.
Blackbeard.
No.
The Grim Reaper.
People aren't helpful at all. Not at all.
I don't know
Johnny
anything
Cash.
about Three Musketeers.
No.
The Thin Man.
No.
He was wearing all black.
He was wearing all black, but no.
Black
No.
Adam.
No.
Ugh, terrible movie. Anyway, continue.
But like the way they broke up the season was whoever they were going to was like the villain that they were supposed to like defeat by the end of the season, and it, you know, you have Queen Anne, who's a big part of it. King Louis is a massive part of it. You have really great actors in their roles, and it just like the story flows excellently. Costumes are great. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about it. And another highly...
Is the Disney film the Goofy one?
No.
The Goofy movie?
There is a Goofy.
No, they did an animated one. with,
Yeah,
like,
they did an
Mickey,
animated
Donald,
one. It's
Goofy.
live action.
Oh,
Because
this is live. Oh.
the Disney one from the 90s has Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Dell,
Chris
God.
Chris O'Donnell. I know who
Chris
you're talking about.
O'Donnell,
Yeah, Robin
thank you.
Yes.
Oliver
Platt.
Platt.
Is it Count de Roche?
Count Rochefort. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Count Rochefort.
It's crazy when you look at Kiefer Sutherland in the 90s and you're just like, wow, he was a little boy at one
Yeah.
point. He wasn't always Jack Bauer.
No.
Just a baby in the Lost Boys.
Yeah. But the TV show The Musketeers is great, and if anyone just wants to watch a really good period piece adventure series, I highly recommend it.
When whenever anybody brings up King Louis, does anyone else want to go, Louis, Louis? Oh,
I start.
No.
I wanna
One of the
sing,
best songs.
I want to sing the Jungle Book song.
You know,
That's my
Let's go
King
into
Louis.
the FBI analyzed that song like backwards and forwards because they thought they were like sneaking in subversive messages.
Really?
But they missed a very obvious part where the drummer yells the F word.
Wow. Interesting.
But that's where I thought you were going with it, like the Jungle Book song.
Oh, no.
Honorable mention, Better Call Saul. What a goddamn show. Like, it takes everything from Breaking Bad and deepens it, and it's unafraid to get weirder and slower and not have, like, the big explosive sort of action set pieces that Breaking Bad ended up sort of going into. It's just, you're watching a dude be a lawyer, and oh my god, you will weep for Jimmy McGill. It's insane. You never think that the idiot lawyer from Breaking Bad that's just there for comic relief will be like such a compelling character, but you're watching it and you're just like, Jesus Christ. He's so much more like, I don't know, compared to Walter White, who's just like a scumbag from the start, more or less. You look at Jimmy and you're like, God, there is something there. There's a spark of life in you, and you sold it to become like a cartoon character. Until you get Mike. Mike's the best.
Mike's the best.
I've not seen either of these shows.
Mike is an old man played by Jonathan Banks, and he is a fixer, more or less, and he's the calmest man alive.
Yeah, but he's just so badass.
Yeah.
All right.
Even in Better Call Saul, when he's like noticeably in his later 70s, you're like, all right, this guy could beat me up.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not messing with him. Yeah.
Michael McKean gives an insane performance as Jimmy's brother, and Rhea Shehorn as Kim Wexler. Oh my god, what a great character. But yeah, main pick, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be Twin Peaks. It's just such a goddamn show, man. What can I say? It hits. It hits. Very few shows hit me as emotionally as this does.
Do you have a favorite character?
I guess Cooper would be the favorite character,
Okay.
just because he's just one of the best protagonists. But like, I think the two best performances have to be Cheryl Lee as Laura and Ray Wise as Leland Palmer, her father. He really, I don't know how that dude didn't end up becoming like so sought after this is nuts to me. He's just a character actor. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like, the first two seasons, amazing already. Then you get the movie, and that's deepens everything. And then you get season 3, which is maybe the only like. It's crazy that this was greenlit as like a nostalgia revival, more or less, because it ends up being such the opposite of that. And I don't know, it goes off in such insane new directions, and I think really.
Does it pick up from the ending of like where he's like staring in the mirror and like
Picks up 25 years later.
Is he still standing in the mirror saying, "How's Annie"?
No.
So
Just with a
that's what I
beard?
meant. Like, was he supposed to have been possessed? That's what that was like.
He's not going to spoil this for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Forget about it. I want to.
You haven't even watched the original show yet.
Is it possible?
No,
I'm
I
not giving you
haven't.
spoilers for
Okay.
season
Is
3.
it possible to start at season 3 with no knowledge, or is that you
I
doing
think
yourself
you'll
a
be very
disservice?
confused.
Okay.
I was,
Sure.
I was often confused in season 3, having seen all of it. So
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend that method.
Okay, I'll do a refresher.
Yeah, it's really something else. Yeah.
Yeah. I did enjoy. I enjoyed the first episode more than I did the first time I watched the show when we did our
Would you watch?
Would You
Yeah,
Watch.
I ended up rewatching it with some friends, one of who never saw it before, and it's just been such a great time. Even though we're in like the bad part of season 2 right now, when Lynch wasn't really involved, but like it's still funny.
Well, listen, I can't say anything that hasn't been said in the past. You guys know that I loved Lost, and I loved Breaking Bad, I loved The Sopranos. You all know my affinity for Euphoria. Yeah, is up there, of course. But I've talked about all that, and my loyal fans know that I'm all about those shows.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Lou, I will say, some of my friends who watch will be like, "Oh man, Lou came through with a good opinion."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Does that mean it doesn't happen often?
I don't think they watch that often.
Oh,
But, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about two shows that I haven't talked about on this show. The first being Fargo. It is an outstanding anthology series. Seasons 1 through 3 are mind blowing. They're fun, and they all follow different storylines and stuff, but they're somewhat connected. I don't think season 3 is really connected with the first two, although it might be.
I only saw the first season, and it was so good.
It's really phenomenal.
Season 3 connects with the deaf guy. That connects to season 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. See, I love that series.
Yeah.
Season 2 is just, I feel like, in its own.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Season 2 takes things to a different level. There's even some intergalactic kind of throw-ins there and stuff like that. Like it really, they take what the Coen brothers did with Fargo and just
Elevate
expand the world totally. It's the guy that wrote he wrote the book about the plane crash.
Noah Hawley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the showrunner for that one. It's excellent. I highly recommend it. I haven't gotten to really watch season 4 yet. But there's few shows that are more entertaining than that one. The other show that I'm going to mention is just a show that I think is legitimately perfect from start to finish. Like Ben said, it's a show that knew when to end, and it's a show that you can sit there and watch in a sitting, and it's heartfelt, it's emotional, and each time it just. And you got great performances, especially in season 2. So Fleabag,
Yes.
I think it's some of the smartest written television that I've ever seen. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridges is a genius, and the priest in season 2 is electric. I mean the chemistry between the two of them. I mean you can just it's amazing. It really it's great to watch.
Those are stellar picks.
Yeah.
Stellar picks.
Yeah, thank you.
If I could, I do. One just came to mind now.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Just stepping on my picks there.
Sorry. Dairy Girls. Seasons 1 to 3 are on Netflix.
You think it's only going to be funny.
No, it's...
Oh my god, it's hysterical.
There are moments
But
where
it's
it's
more.
pure hilarity, and then there's moments when it's so touching. So it takes place in Derry during the time,
London
early
Derry.
to mid-90s, during the later half of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And it's about teens trying to be teenagers in times where there were a lot of difficulties, a lot of violence, a lot of uncertainty. But the characters are fantastic, so that's another one that I would highly recommend. It's 3 seasons, and they're all on Netflix.
Man. Have you seen Fargo?
No.
I'm almost jealous I didn't pick that. That is that, and it's artistic too.
Yeah.
And it's so good that, you know what he's doing next?
No.
He's working with Ridley Scott making an Alien series.
Oh, yeah?
Alien
I didn't know
TV
that.
series.
Wow.
Or is it a Blade Runner TV series?
I think it was Alien, yeah.
It's Alien, okay. Yeah. And Fede Alvarez doing an Alien movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so. But, all right, I have an idea. Check this out. Welcome to Caffeinated Librarians. Still my final episode. Second part is now about favorite.
Put her on the spot.
Oh, we're going to go with movies.
Very
Movies.
good. This way you can cut it up into smaller chunks if you want to.
Okay.
I'm looking out for you.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a nice little...
Movies.
Starting with Simona.
So, as as you may be aware, and as my colleagues are, I don't watch very many movies, but I do have my favorites.
It's easier to pick one.
Yeah. So I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy in general. Those are beautifully made, beautifully scored.
What's your favorite one?
I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
point.
Good. I was just, yeah.
Easy. Patience.
Beautifully scored, beautifully acted films. My favorite, though, is The Fellowship of the Ring.
Facts. Agreed.
It's just, it's your introduction to the world of Middle-earth. It's your introduction to the characters. And there's a magic because it's like when you're first entering a world that can't really be replicated once you get to the later films. But all of the films are gorgeous. I would recommend all 3 of them. But when I had to pick, yeah, definitely The Fellowship of the Ring. I recently rewatched the extended editions with my sister.
I love the extended editions.
Which, if you haven't seen the extended editions,
You got it.
yeah. Some things I understand why they were cut, because when I was looking, I was like, that really didn't add anything to the story. But
Power move. Watch all 3 extended editions back to back to back.
I've done that.
Power move.
They really have made
Really?
the theatrical cuts obsolete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be my first.
Can I say, so
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. Simona, that is not only a good pick, that might be the best pick any of us have. Because that movie, that's the movie I remember being in theaters. I'm pretty sure I've shared this with you guys. I remember being in the theater. I didn't know anything about The Lord of the Rings. And I'm pretty sure, like, I don't even remember, like, why we went to see it, other than, like, my dad brought me to see it.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember sitting in that theater, and then when Frodo and Sam get to the top of that mountain or whatever, and it ended, I was like, what? I was like, I wanted more. I was like, I was hooked.
You felt the pain of knowing it was a year away.
Yeah.
The actual pain.
Yeah, I was hooked. And no, I to that point, I had never experienced a movie that hooked me like that.
And since I am talking about this trilogy, if I want to talk about favorite moments in the trilogy, the scene that always, well, there's 2 scenes that always arouse such emotion. It's when Rohan Helm's Deep is being besieged, and Aragorn looks to the east?
Look to the east.
The east, and Gandalf appears at the top of the hill with the other Rohirrim, and they just start galloping down that hill, and the music swells.
Yep.
Chills. One of the most gorgeous moments. The other one
Well-
is when Theoden is giving his speech, and he takes his sword, which was actually not ad-libbed, but it was improvised by the actor. He thought that Theoden should have a battle sort of moment, like a bonding moment with his men, and he runs with his blade knocking against the spears.
And that's Return of the King, and
Yeah.
that's my favorite scene. It's
Yes.
the Battle of Minas Tirith, and the riders of Rohan have
Yes.
come to help the people
Yes.
of Gondor, and
Yes, and Theoden is
Yeah.
shouting death, and then all
Yeah.
the riders shout death. It's so
and
chilling.
then they
Yeah.
tear down that
Yes.
hill right into the
Yes.
lines of the orcs. Yeah.
So, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite scene in the trilogy?
My
Because I know
least
mine.
favorite? My least favorite would... my least favorite...
You got one? I hated when Mary was singing to the guy, and he's sitting there eating.
Oh, you
and
mean
it looks
Pippin?
like blood is like
But
coming
I thought,
out of
but
it.
that was the intent
Yeah.
of the scene.
Yeah, but it was nasty.
No,
I
it
know
does-
what you
it
mean.
definitely
Pippin,
is-
not Mary. It's Pippin, not
Okay,
Mary.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the intent because it's, yeah. But I understand what you mean.
No, I
It's-
still didn't like it. It doesn't matter what they intended. I didn't like
Yeah.
it. I was like,
But
I don't
I
know
get
why.
it.
I was like,
I
and
think
this
that-
is cringe. Like he's singing to this old man. Like
Yeah. Well,
he
that's
sings like,
his, that's
you
his
know,
liege lord. He
his-
can't
his-
deny him.
His voice is so high, much higher than he speaks. He's like, he's like that. Like,
Don't.
I'm like, come on, man.
Oh my god.
Like get somebody to sing that knows what they're doing or something like that. I don't know.
So
I feel like what sets the first movie apart from the other 2 is that it's the one that feels like a real adventure,
yeah.
where the other 2 feel like war movies.
And also because, like, one thing that always kills me, and I understand that's the whole intent the Fellowship breaks. It's alluded to many times in the start of the film. But what I love is, because I hate partings, that's why in the final film, the scene where, and this is a spoiler if you haven't seen it, so you're warned, where Frodo goes to the Undying Lands, and Sam is just crying, and Frodo says, you know, you still have life to live. That always makes me so emotional, because I hate the idea of parting from someone that I love and I care about, and Frodo is essentially
Kind of
going-
like how Ben's leaving us.
See you around. I'm gonna go to the Grey Havens.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But no, Ben will still be with us. But
In
spirit.
That's,
You know that scene when they're all walking in, and Frodo's like on the bed. He's like, after everybody and everything. There's some, isn't there
Oh
something?
my God.
I thought I remember
Jeff's like, edit here.
somebody mentioning something about Legolas with that, and like Frodo doesn't say his name or something like that. I'll have to look into this a little bit.
Well,
but
he doesn't say Legolas.
But there's something about that or something.
well, because
I'll have to look into this.
Well,
a
the
little
thing
bit
about
more.
Legolas,
I'm just having like deja vu of something.
But I'll say this afterward when we finish recording. If I have to go through honorable mentions, The Mummy, and I've said this before, The Mummy has a special place in my heart too, because that was the first non-Disney related film that I went to watch in the theater, so I felt like a big girl. And I went with my older brother and my younger sister. So, and the scene when Edie, her name is Edie? No, Evie. Sorry, her brother is caught in the middle of like the zombie people, and he goes Emotep, and everyone started clapping in the theater. So it has a very special place in my heart. So that's my honorable mention. The Mummy. I'm done.
The Mummy. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a nice list actually.
Thank you. I would have had more, but I don't want to.
Favorite scene in all of Lord of the Rings for me is when what's the elf dad? What's his name?
Oh,
In Rivendell.
Aragorn?
No,
The elf dad.
Yeah, Liv Tyler's father. Okay.
What's Tyler's dad?
Elrond.
Elrond. Yeah.
When Elrond goes to Arwen.
Elrond Hubble.
He's telling her how even if Aragorn wins, he's
Yes.
still done. And that whole segment where like he's going through what her life's gonna be like.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like the moment of the whole trilogy. It's
Yeah.
never seen like anything like that. It's just really excellent. Honorable mentions, all-time favorites. It gets an honorable mention even though I just love it so hard. It's Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. It is just such a jolt of joy and electricity. It has for all the stunts Tom Cruise does, the best moment in all of his Mission Impossible movies is an opera scene, which is just beautiful, and all these winks to other spy movies from back in the day. It's just lovely. Steve Jobs, historically probably laughably inaccurate, written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by Danny Boyle. Once again, a pure jolt of electricity. It's so rewatchable and so powerful. And I think I always say it's a movie that takes place backstage before an event in 3 different times.
Yeah.
And just it lights you on fire. The World's End is the 3rd movie in the Cornetto trilogy by Edgar Wright, and I think there's a more emotional heft to it than the other 2 movies, which are also excellent, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But I have to say, the movie that was the life-changing moment for me, where I realized I wanted to be in movies, be around movies, be working with movies for the rest of my life, was May 2000 Gladiator.
Oh yes.
It was the come to Jesus moment for me. I was in there just completely in awe about what I was looking at.
Are you not entertained?
I was very, very entertained.
That movie
And
is
the
gorgeous.
music was like gobsmacking to me at the time, and Russell Crowe's performance, I'd never seen direction like that. That's where Ridley Scott became like the god tier director for me in my life, and I followed, obsessed over everything he's done ever since. I keep going back to that movie. It has aged so well. It's so much practical effects, and there is digital, but it looks very pretty because he was...
Well, because the actor who plays the Ludus trainer, the gladiator trainer,
Oliver Reed.
died,
Yeah.
like right in the
Oliver
middle
Reed.
of filming.
And they handled that very well.
Yeah, they did.
There's the whole
he
opening...
died like drinking with sailors.
Yeah, he died at the
What a
champion.
way to go.
Yeah. He died how he lived, partying hard.
And there was the opening battle has this, basically the cavalry arrives, which Russell Crowe was on it, and all the film stock got corrupted. And Ridley Scott said, "Well, we'll just use it." And they used it, and it's all blurry, and it looks like a painting in motion, and it was actually like, became one of the coolest looking scenes of the movie, and it was actually because the film got messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Gladiator, if you haven't seen it, I'm kind of jealous that you're going to get to see it for the first time.
It's such a great movie.
It really is. And
And the fact that Gladiator 2 is going into production right now,
Yeah.
and Connie Nielsen is going to be back as the Empress Mother, and it's going to be about the kid who's grown up and is living in the shadow of both Maximus and his corrupt uncle.
So is Russell Crowe going to be in it?
No.
No, because he died at the end of the
But it's
first
going to be the
movie.
guy who's in...
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, God. He's in Normal People, Regular People. He's just won an acting award. He's in this movie called...
Yeah, that guy. I know who you're talking about.
You should know all these things, Joe.
I have no. I don't know what you're talking about.
Normal People's that show. That show on the TV.
On the TV thing.
Anyway, if Ridley
I'm
Scott...
sorry. This is based on a Sally Rooney novel.
Yeah,
This isn't my area of expertise.
Not Ordinary People.
Oh,
Normal People. No,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Normal
based
People.
on a Sally Rooney
Yeah.
novel. Yeah. Paul
Glad-
Mescal. You're
And
That's
thinking
him.
of, yeah.
Yes.
Paul
What's
the
Mescal.
girl's name?
Daisy Edgar Jones.
That
You
one.
really
She's
are.
popular.
You really are the mind.
I looked it up.
looked
I
it up.
googled this.
But you looked it up with minimal
We had the
information.
title.
Yeah,
We didn't
Normal
even know
People
that
ended
was
up
really-
being the title.
We didn't
Joe,
know
take
that
the
was the
compliment.
title.
just take it, Joe. Just take it.
So
Just take it.
yeah, and so Ridley Scott's directing Gladiator 2,
As it should be.
24 years after the first.
24? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
And before that, he's releasing Napoleon on Apple, and it's going to get a theatrical release. Enjoy him while you have him. The man's 86 years old. He's going to retire or
God
die.
bless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Gladiator. Gladiator is the one.
Okay, I have 2 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is called Miracle, which is about the 1980 Winter Olympics hockey team who defeated the Soviet Union hockey team in the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York. And the fact of that not even being the medal round during that game is incredible, since you're looking at a team who's been playing together for at least the last 20 or 30 years, and you've got like a ragtag group of hockey players from Michigan, Minnesota, Boston. All of you are like rivals, and your average age is like 21 to 23 years old, and they're not even like what would be considered a professional hockey team. And just learning about, like, because Kurt Russell plays Herb Brooks, the coach of that hockey team, and just how he pulled all of these rival team, these rival players together is I think really amazing.
His name was Gordon Bombay.
What?
Ducks fly together.
Quack, 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 quack. Come on, everybody. Everybody.
Mighty Ducks.
I've never seen the Mighty Ducks.
It's not a Mighty
It's
Ducks movie.
a ragtag group
Oh.
of young hockey players that struggle to get along.
Yeah, and they beat Iceland in D2.
Yeah.
It's great. It's good stuff. It's essentially.
You sure you're not
it's-
talking about the Mighty
it's
Ducks?
I am
essentially-
not talking about the Mighty Ducks, Ben.
It's essentially the same exact thing.
Yeah. Directed by Gavin O'Connor, who directed Warrior.
Another really good movie. My second honorable mention.
Miracle
Is-
2.
No, 'cause there is no sequel.
With the
When
Bash
they lose to
Brothers.
Canada for 8 straight times.
Fine, I won't say anything. Is actually Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. Another
Directed by Ridley
Ridley
Scott.
Scott movie. It's a period piece set in England, first France, because of course King Richard is coming back to England, and he's broke because he did corrupt his country while fighting in the Crusades, and he was crusading in France in order to get that money back, and he was in fact killed by a French cook, not a knight.
French cook.
And the
Intentionally?
Yeah, he was raiding a castle.
Danny Houston's
for
portrayal
that cook.
of Richard the Lionheart is the best.
Yes.
Because he's
Yeah.
like this boorish pig of a man who's like loud and
Oh yeah, he wasn't even a good king either. And just having because I also love The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland. But to have like a different spin on the legend of Robin Hood and have it be like an original story is really like refreshing and really good. And Mark Strong plays Guy of Gisborne outstandingly, and it's Kate Blanchett is great as Marion, and I love the Alan Adale and Will Scarlet and Little John. I like all these
Lil
characters.
Jon's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the window, to the wall. I got what you were going for.
You know, Alan Adale was played by a guy named Alan Doyle,
Oh,
who
really?
was possibly a long-lost descendant of Alan Adale.
Really?
And did you know that that opening battle in France
Uh-huh.
is in the same field that the opening battle in Gladiator took place in?
Really?
Yep.
See?
It's a same estate in the Lake District that they just decked out to.
What
Ridley
about,
Scott was like, you know what, that worked before. Let's just do that again.
what about Richard Gere's? No, he didn't. No, he didn't
No.
do
That was
Robin
First
Hood.
Night. That was
That
the
First
King Arthur
Night.
movie.
But
That
that's
was
What
King
about
Arthur, but
Martin
I love
Lawrence's
that one.
Black Knight?
No, what was the one with Alan Rickman? There was a Robin Hood with
Kevin
Alan
Costner.
Oh, it's
Rickman.
Kevin Costner. That's the Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, what about that one?
There's something about
Such a bad movie.
the
Such
Ridley
a bad
Scott
movie.
one that's like it's like granular.
Yeah,
And
it's dirty and it's nasty and people. It's like no
How life
one.
would have been.
No one is glamorous in it. Even the royal family isn't like glamorous in any stretch of the imagination.
Which I guess also would have made
Showing
sense.
out
Yeah.
the Black
But
Knight
when
to
you,
show
like-
North Carolina.
that movie's what, 12 years old now, almost
I
13
think
years
so.
old.
Yeah.
Watching it now and how amazing it still looks.
Yeah.
It's kind of baffling how
Yeah.
that's like a Ridley Scott trope. Is like his movies always look good 10 years later. Where
Mm-hmm.
like try watching the Kevin Costner Robin Hood, like it looks
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
can't stand Kevin Costner.
You should watch Yellowstone. You'll change your mind.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot, but there's just something about him. I hate the way he talks. I can't stand
Yeah,
it.
and it never changes. So if you hate that, you're not gonna like him. He's always that.
It's just the way he talks.
I've seen crazy scenes from Yellowstone where where he's just like talking to protesters and he's like, "Oh, get off my land," and then like
We don't share.
and then like
land.
next episode he's like sleeping with her. So like I really don't know what happens on that show.
It's fantastic.
Um.
How do you feel? So, what I found out about Robin Hood because I watched the making of documentary.
Mm-hmm.
That like deservedly just embarrassing final battle, which everyone hates, and it's kind of a mess. He had 5 days to shoot that battle.
Really? See, I didn't
5
think
days.
there was anything wrong with it other than the fact that you have essentially World War II era amphibian boats coming up onto the beach and just things that wouldn't have existed.
And like the
then.
French soldiers running at full
Yeah,
speed, screaming
no,
off the
there's-
boat, even though nobody's there on
Right.
the beach.
No,
Yeah.
no. That's like the only issue I have with the final battle. Otherwise, I don't have a problem with
The
with
reason
the rest of
why is because it was going to end in Nottingham, but
Really?
the studio
Okay.
said no, we need a big final battle, and so they
See,
forced
now,
the
that that could have just ended in Nottingham and that would have been fine. But okay.
This is just your honorable mention.
Yeah, 'cause
Nice.
my favorite one is a film that came out this year, and it's Avatar: The Way of Water. Why are you looking at me like that?
Don't you feel like you have to give it a little time before you realize
No, because I saw it twice, and the story is
The
really
woman knows what she likes.
it's fair?
Yeah,
I respect that.
thank you, Lou.
You go, girl.
Thank you.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
And it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I loved the story. The story is essentially about a family trying to stick together under like immense the situation is like, not to give it too much away.
I haven't seen it yet.
Right. So that's why I'm trying not to spoil anything.
I feel like I have to rewatch the first one. Though.
I mean, you don't really have to.
Like, I don't remember anything.
I never
Okay,
saw
then-
the first one.
Oh, really?
I read the Wikipedia summary. I got by fine.
Oh, yeah?
But it's like just like everything is great about it, and what really stuck with me is just the sheer story of it surrounding with the Sully family. That story stuck with me like a good 2 to 3 days after I saw the movie, and that a movie has never done that to me before. So that's why it's my favorite, and I highly recommend it. You should really go and see it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you yet? I haven't yet.
Not yet. I want to see it in IMAX, though. I feel like if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd
Is
recommend
fake
it.
IMAX acceptable?
Yes.
What's fake IMAX?
Like Danbury?
Yeah.
That's still IMAX. I saw it there.
It's an IMAX ratio, but it's not like the IMAX theater.
I saw it.
Yeah,
I
but
saw
like,
it
you
in
know.
in the Regal Cinema in Poughkeepsie near me, and it's great. You don't lose any of the
Okay.
effects.
Cool.
I wouldn't do 3D though. I do remember. Wasn't
No,
like 3D.
I recommend it
Really?
for it. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
3D.
3D was like the big thing with the first one, right? Like that was
Yeah.
like
Yes.
the first 3D one.
It wasn't the first 3D one, but it was the first. It was. They replaced all the projectors with digital for it.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what killed film
Oh.
as a medium. It kind of sucks, but like.
I saw the first one, but at the time that I went, I didn't get 3D glasses because like I had glasses. Like I'm not gonna put glasses on top of glasses. That was a mistake.
They make them fit now.
Yeah.
I
now.
wore my glasses. Yeah.
Well, I don't like. I saw.
2009 was when the first movie came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and it was just a bad experience because I felt dizzy. Like everything was just like pop. Like oh, this shouldn't be doing it. I remember there was a reason I couldn't get the glasses. Maybe they didn't have any left. But yeah. What I liked is I was looking at some behind. And I've told this to Katie already. Some behind the scenes moments like so they had a deaf gentleman come up with the sign language that the water Navi used, and I just thought it was so beautiful the way he was saying that he didn't want to do signs that were already existing. He wanted to do something completely original.
Yeah.
So it was really, that's what I like when you,
And you when you go to the, I'm gonna try and say it correctly, the Nekaima. No, I can't even say it.
The water Navi. I know. Yeah.
You have, what I love about it is that you don't have like the same hashed out story with the Navi in the forest. It's a completely different like culture and a completely different like
Oh, so
way
they're
of
two
living.
separate-
They're two separate peoples with. It's like with the forest Navi, you have like essentially like the Native Americans or the indigenous South American peoples.
Okay.
With the water Navi, you're like looking at Southern Polynesian and the Maui people of New Zealand.
Oh,
And-
cool. So that
yeah.
was the inspiration for them?
I'm assuming so, but that's what I see, because you have with the water Navi, you have like the face tattoos of some of the like the more higher like the warrior, like the chief and
Oh, okay.
it's all very much inspired by it. And Cliff Curtis plays the leader of the water Navi, and he is of that background, and you have a lot of it
Oh, cool. That's
coming
cool.
out in the characters that play the water Navi. So I mean, it's just a really great story.
So he's playing his character from Hobbs and Shaw.
What?
Cliff Curtis is like a
Hobbs and Shaw,
Maori warrior,
honestly, wasn't that bad.
I've never
Probably.
seen the
Pretty
movie,
funny
so-
movie.
where Hobbs goes back to his home
Yeah.
in the Pacific Islands and gets his family together, and they take on.
Oh, Hobbs and Shaw.
Wait.
Yeah.
The
Hobbs
Fest.
is The Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Deckard Shaw is
Is
Jason Momoa.
Jason-
Yeah,
No.
Is
No,
Jason
no, it's Jason
Statham.
Jason
Jason
Statham.
Statham.
The
You
Rock
said
and
that
Herschel
title.
Walker.
movie,
You
Yeah,
said-
let's do that movie.
You said that title so fast, I had no idea
Yeah.
what you were talking about. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, Cliff Curtis and Roman Reigns were.
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do The Rock and Momoa in something. Who's making that
That
movie?
would get me back on the Rock's side, to be
Yeah.
honest. He
Well, I
needs
don't
to
know.
sap that
Momoa's
Momoa
in the
goodwill.
next Fast and Furious, likely because The Rock refused to do it.
There's
and
another
Momoa's like,
Fast
well,
and Furious.
you're
Why am I
fine.
surprised?
That's the last one, though, right?
It's the second to last one.
Second one.
I
Anyway.
think Vin's ghost directing this one.
Oh my god.
Well,
Because they got James Wan back, right? And then
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin, I'm
and
sorry.
he walked.
Yeah, because I think Vin Diesel is like going nuts on set and like directing the movie more or
From what I
less.
hear, it's a party to him, and he's just kind of showing up whenever he wants, and he knows they're going to be huge hits. He's just having a really great time. Apparently, he's difficult to deal with that way, but it doesn't seem like he's mean to anybody, from what I hear.
I think I know him and The Rock hate each other, but
Yeah, well, because The Rock's like hustle.
Yeah,
Look at my Instagram. I'm
there's
working out
really
at 4 in the
funny
morning.
scenes where like you can tell they're green screen together because they refuse to do it to be in the same room. Like, yeah, you can tell because The Rock is like changing size between shots and
Yeah.
like,
Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I recommend seeing it. It's really good.
Hobbs and Shaw.
No.
I know.
Yeah, Ben, did you love
Avatar.
when Idris
Yeah.
Elba said, "I'm the Black Superman"?
I loved everything he did. I thought he was a wonderful
Idris
villain.
Elba really was great in that
Mhm.
movie. I love him. But I just remember that line was in every trailer, and when he said it in the movie, I was like, yes, that's what I came to see.
I wish he was like, they would give him roles other than like the villain.
They don't take him seriously here in
Yeah.
He's
America.
gonna
It
be
kind of
Luther.
sucks.
He is going to be
Again?
Luther again. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I did see that.
that's over in his homeland.
He's the-
We need to respect him here. It's like how we treat Mads Mikkelsen, right? Like,
Yeah.
here we put him in bad movies and just always have him play the villain. Meanwhile, in, like,
Well,
Denmark, he's great.
He
He's
was-
an acclaimed actor.
he was Tristan in King Arthur in 2004, and that wasn't a bad movie.
That was before Mads Mikkelsen got real big here, though.
Okay, fine, but can we acknowledge that he was at least in that movie?
Yeah, I'm not saying. I don't want. Okay, I didn't mean to make it sound like every movie he's in America is bad. I was saying that.
He's in Casino Royale.
Yeah, he usually
He's
doesn't
Yeah,
villain.
he
get.
is in
He's
Casino
villain.
Royale too.
What?
He's villain.
Yeah,
in
he
America.
usually doesn't get big meaty roles. He's
Yeah.
the villain. Like,
Well, he wasn't in the villain in King Arthur. I'm just pointing that out.
No,
Who
but
was
he got
he in
he got wiped out by the villain though.
Yes, he did.
Got embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
Epic battle and
Beautiful
end of
sword-
movie
beautiful
battle.
sword fight. Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Very sad, but very great. Yes.
Here's the eagle's
Another
like,
honorable
"Daddy."
mention movie that I
You know,
really
I
like.
just want Idris Elba to play Stringer Bell again, or like something like Stringer Bell. Like just be a. I want him to be the lead badass villain that you root for, because I kind of rooted for him in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, screw The Rock and Jason
because
Statham. I was
Idris
gonna say
Elba
no more.
is like 10 times more charisma than
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
So it's just like, yeah, I like this guy more.
Yeah, I was like, how can I get that accent?
You would have to live in his area.
Damn it.
I love the commercials that he's been doing for the travel
Yeah, booking.com.
booking.com. I love
Yeah.
those commercials. Just watch it for him.
There's a song I heard him recommend once, and he was like, "This changed the game in UK grime," and I was like, "Well, all right, I guess I'll check it out." And it's
What's
called
this song?
in 21 Seconds by Too Solid Crew, So Solid Crew. I'm sorry, and it's a song where this group that has like 15 members or something ridiculous, they each get 21 seconds to rap.
Nice.
Exactly, and they're all in and out in 21 seconds. It's amazing. Has the goofiest beat imaginable because that's how everything sounds in England.
You know what his next huge role is? The main NPC in Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. The video
What's an
game.
NPC?
Non-playable character.
Oh.
Like Johnny Silverhand. Although technically he becomes a playable character a little bit. Idris Elba.
There's a cyberpunk movie.
No, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, the game, the second part of the game.
Oh, he's
that's
gonna be
coming
in a
out.
game.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
looks awesome.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right, Joe.
All right, honorable mention, Inherent Vice. Great movie. It's a neo-noir. It's Paul Thomas Anderson, based on a Pynchon novel. One of the best Joaquin Phoenix performances. The best Josh Brolin performance. You got a great Eric Roberts in there. It just, but yeah, it's set in 1970 LA. It's all about death of the hippie dream and also about breakups. It's just such a beautiful film. I saw it senior year of high school. It changed my perspective on a lot, I think, at the end of the day. I love it.
I've seen your senior picture
Yeah.
right over there in those books.
Yep.
Keep that in mind, everybody, if you want to see senior year Joe. He's documented
We
historically.
got it here at the library.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Forever.
you can bring it up to me and laugh at me. Say,
I think you look good.
It'd be so cruel.
Yeah,
Somebody comes in and be like, I need the yearbook. Just to laugh at you.
But yeah, great music. Johnny Greenwood always kills it. One of the best composers we have. Next level stuff. Next level all around. And for my top pick, please bear with me. I'm about to get insufferable here.
I like Insufferable.
So it's It's a 3-hour French film from the 70s called
oui.
Celine and Julie Go Boating. It's by Jacques Rivette, who I think is maybe just the greatest director of all time. Every time I watch a movie by him, I'm just like blown away. I'm like, oh my god, movies can do that? Movies can feel like this? This is nuts. But yeah, more or less what happened with it was he just got his friends together for a summer in Paris, and they filmed. And like almost every major actor in it has a writing credit. It was super collaborative as they were going along. It's very sort of inspired by Lewis Carroll. It's very inspired by this Henry James story, and it just sort of two women, Celine and Julie. One is a magician in like a cabaret. One is a librarian.
Hey.
And they're drawn together by fate, I guess. And they might access an alternate reality. They might access a story world. They might access something. But yeah, it's wild. It's difficult to explain, but it's at once just like this perfect, blissed out hangout comedy with just beautiful imagery of Paris and these women just goofing off, and like this insane, like mind-bending reality trip. So it's next level stuff.
I really need to take just a list from you, because your filmography, your Rolodex in your brain is so deep, and I want to know these things.
This is on Criterion. Check it out. It's a perfect way to spend like a Sunday afternoon.
Well, speaking of Criterion, speaking of 3-hour movies that people think people are insufferable for liking, did you hear that Inland Empire is finally getting its release?
I can't wait. And it's
in
the
April?
crazy new restoration where it's like upscaled by AI, and I don't know, David Lynch ran it through like the Krungler or whatever to get a bizarre image.
Sounds like a machine he created.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what kind of device is that?
Yeah, I made it up right then on the spot. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. There's not a real Krungler.
I thought you were like, and he ran it through the Krungler. I was like, oh my god, the Krungler. Wow.
But it was like this bizarre process that makes no sense because it was shot on mini DV in like 2000. So
2005, 2006, yeah.
But it is, yeah, I can't wait for that to come out because I didn't get to see the restoration in theaters. So, but yeah, no, this Celine Julie gets compared to Lynch a lot, but like it's sort of like, what if Lynch characters thought reality breaking was cool and funny instead of being scared by it?
I'm on it.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
And you're not insufferable for liking cool stuff.
Agreed. I don't think I can say anything here that hasn't already been said. I'm having deja vu.
Fargo.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool if everyone was Fargo. Yeah, the novelization of Fargo. And
the video game adaptation. I really, you guys know I love Jurassic Park, Godfather, Goodfellas, all that stuff.
Every time you come down here, you're whistling the theme to Jurassic Park.
I am, all the time, yeah.
Yep.
It's always in my head. It's always playing.
One of the best themes, honestly.
Without a doubt. I couldn't agree more.
Where were you when you saw Jurassic Park?
Well, we were like
Yeah,
three?
I think I probably saw it like at home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it came out in 1993, so
Yeah.
we were both like 3 years old.
I saw the first time at my father's workplace. It was take your daughter to work day. And they showed us Jurassic
Cool.
Park.
Wow, I like that.
I was dropped off at the Jefferson Valley Mall, 12 years old, and I watched
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
Blown
I like
away.
that.
I was at home and I watched it with my mom, and we both hid underneath the blanket when the raptors came into the kitchen.
Oh,
But the movie I'm actually going to talk about is also a French movie. I might have mentioned this before, but it's not like my favorite movie. It's not the best movie ever, but I was trying to think of a movie that affected me. And when I saw this movie, it I sat there. First off, the score at the end of it is just beautiful and haunting. And I just remember staring at the screen, trying to come to grips with what I just watched. And not a lot of movies do that to me. So it's called Breathe, but the French is called Respire. And it plays like a a high school love story between these two girls. At some points, it plays like a horror movie. At other points, and the ending is just so kind of shocking because you really, I mean, it's, yeah, I don't know how to explain without spoiling the ending, but we did this filmmaking program at Ossining, and I did it with the kids, and I wanted the ending of that movie is how I wanted the actor in the movie that we were making at the library. I wanted her to do the exact same thing that she does at the end of the movie. The kid did an okay job, but it's just like never has a movie, like I've never been inspired by a movie the way I was inspired by that and everything. It really is just kind of it's an intense movie. It's a fun movie, but it was great, and the two lead actresses in it are out of this world. One of the reviews for it said like they're gonna be powerhouses in French cinema for the next 40 years. And I don't know if that's come to fruition or not. I don't watch a lot of French movies. I don't know how I came upon this movie, but yeah, it really hit me. An honorable mention, Frances Ha, Greta Gerwig.
Oh,
Yeah.
such an amazing movie.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, beautiful movie, fun. And
So you two are the insufferable section.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
No, Greta Gerwig is solid gold
Yeah.
all the way through.
I think she's a genius.
Everyone poo-pooing
Yeah.
Barbie is just like, do you know who's directing this? Do you
Yeah.
know who this is?
Yeah.
She
Also,
wrote
how
it.
can we poo-poo it already? There's
Yeah.
nothing out about
Actually,
it.
I liked the promo for it.
Right,
I
me
thought
too.
it was very well done.
Yeah,
Like it's
agreed.
a great without giving too much away, which
Yeah.
a lot of trailers do. Like you tell the entire film.
Look, as soon as I saw the pink city, I was like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
in.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
This looks like
Yeah.
it looks like what I was hoping it to be.
Yeah.
Her Robert Altman's Popeye.
Yeah. I have nothing but faith in Greta Gerwig. Everything she's done is top notch. Even 20th Century Women, I thought she was the best part of that movie.
I really like that
Yeah,
movie.
I
That
think it's
movie's
very underrated.
lovely. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
2020 was like one of the best Oscar years of all time, with 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
whatever else won, Little Women. I think Little Women was the one. I
Yeah.
thought, Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
The list of movies was excellent, and I think hers was still the best out of all of them.
We should do Lady Bird for a podcast. That movie is
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.